Elijah was one of Israel's greatest prophets, bold, fiery, and faithful, but every journey has an end. The time had come for God to take Elijah from this world in a way unlike anyone else. His apprentice, Elisha, walked with him, determined not to leave his side. It was the beginning of the end of an era, but also the dawn of a new one, as they traveled from Gilgal to Bethel, then to Jericho, and finally toward the Jordan River. Something unusual kept happening. At each stop, groups of prophets came out and whispered to Elisha, "Do you know the Lord is going to take your master today?" Their words were filled with a mix of awe and sorrow. Elisha already knew what was coming, but the weight of it was immense. He replied each time, "Yes, I know. Don't talk about it." He simply wasn't ready to say goodbye. His heart was heavy, knowing that the man who had mentored him, his spiritual father, would soon be gone. He just wanted to spend these last few precious moments in peace. When they arrived at the banks of the Jordan River, a powerful reminder of God's might was about to unfold. Elijah took off his cloak, the very symbol of his prophetic office, rolled it up tightly, and struck the water with authority. Instantly, the river parted, creating a path of dry ground right through the middle. This wasn't just a miracle. It was a powerful echo of the past, a callback to the incredible miracles of Moses at the Red Sea and Joshua at this very same river. As the two men crossed, it was clear that the same God who had led Israel in the past was present with them now, guiding this final, sacred journey. On the other side, the air grew still. The journey was almost over. Elijah turned to his loyal apprentice and asked a profound question. "Tell me, what can I do for you before I am taken away?" This was Elisha's one chance to ask for anything. He could have asked for riches, honor, or an easy life. But Elisha's heart was set on something far greater. He looked at his master and said, "Let me inherit a double portion of your spirit." He wasn't asking to be twice as great as Elijah. In ancient tradition, the firstborn son received a double portion of the father's inheritance to carry on the family name and responsibilities. Elisha was asking to be recognized as Elijah's true spiritual heir, to carry on his monumental mission with even greater strength and anointing. Elijah understood the weight of this request. He replied, "You've asked for a hard thing. But if you see me when I'm taken, it will be yours." The condition was set. Elisha had to witness the divine departure. As they continued to walk and talk, the ordinary moment was shattered by an extraordinary event. Suddenly, the sky itself seemed to roar. A breathtaking chariot of fire, pulled by horses of fire, descended from the heavens and came between the two men, separating them with a blaze of divine glory. And then, in a powerful whirlwind, Elijah was lifted up, ascending into heaven. Elisha watched, his eyes wide with a mixture of terror and wonder. He cried out with all his heart, my Father, the chariots and horsemen of Israel." It was a cry of deep personal loss and the recognition of the spiritual power that had just departed from the nation. And then, just like that, Elijah was gone from his sight. Grief-stricken, Elisha tore his own clothes, a traditional expression of deep sorrow and mourning. His master was gone, but then his eyes fell upon something lying on the ground, Elijah's cloak. It was the mantle of the prophet, left behind for him. He picked it up, the tangible symbol of his new calling and the authority that came with it. With renewed purpose, he walked back to the Jordan River. He stood at the water's edge and, echoing his master's actions, struck the water with the cloak, crying out, "Where now is the Lord, the God of Elijah?" Once again, the river parted. The other prophets, who had been watching from a distance, saw this incredible sign and knew without a doubt the spirit of Elijah now rested on Elisha. The mantle had been passed. Elijah's dramatic departure is more than just a stunning miracle. It's a profound story about legacy and the continuation of God's work. Elijah's mission didn't end when he was swept up into heaven. It continued, and even expanded, through his successor, Elisha, who went on to perform many miracles himself. He picked up the mantle and carried the mission forward with unwavering courage and faith. The lesson for us is crystal clear. God's work is never dependent on just one person, no matter how great they are. Each generation is called to pick up the mantle left by the one before and continue the journey, building on the foundation they laid. Elijah didn't experience death as we know it. Instead, God brought him directly into his heavenly presence in a whirlwind of fire and glory. His story is a powerful reminder that God's power transcends our understanding of life and death, and that when one chapter of his great story ends, another beautiful one begins. The legacy is passed on, the work continues. So the question that lingers for each of us is this: are we ready to pick up the mantle in our own lives and carry on the work we've been called to do? Thanks for watching. If this story inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that explores these timeless truths. See you next time.